So we have some breaking news regarding Donald Trump and Epstein that came out yesterday when I released this video. And that has to do with the letter. Remember, the New York Times broke a story about a month or so ago where Donald Trump wrote a letter to Jeffrey Epstein. Now, they didn't release the letter. Well, now the Oversight Committee has released that letter, and it's that letter plus one other document that I want to make the topic of today's video. So first, the reason why this release of this letter is important is because Donald Trump's signature is at the bottom. Now, before this point, we weren't able to know if it was actually his signature, but now I'm going to put the image on the screen when I read this to you. Remember, this is a weird it's a weird letter, and it kind of foreshadows or kind of secretly tells some things that they may have had in common. So I'm going to read this letter, and then I want you to look at the signature, because this is the point of contention. Of course, you have people on the left saying, this is clear, this is his signature. And then you have people on the right, including the administration itself, saying, wait a second, this could have been forged. So I will give you my thoughts on that here in a second. But first, let's read this letter. Now, this is kind of it's worded in like a hypothetical, right? Like a conversation between these two. So it says voiceover. There must be more to life than having everything. And then Donald replies, yes, there is, but I won't tell you what it is. Then Jeffrey says, nor will I, since I already know what it is. Donald says, we have certain things in common, Jeffrey, which Jeffrey responds, yes, we do, come to think of it. Donald then says, enigmas never age. Have you noticed that? Jeffrey replies, as a matter of fact, it was clear to me the last time I saw you. And then Donald replies, a pal is a wonderful thing. Happy birthday, and may every day be another wonderful secret. Now, what I want you to focus on, of course, is the signature at the bottom of that letter, because this is where the point of contention comes from. Now, obviously, that letter is weird as fuck. And there has been plenty of debate, especially the whole wonderful secret thing at the end. What could that possibly be, right, in the context of Jeffrey Epstein? But the new information is that signature. Now, the White House has said this could be forged. You have other people on Truth Social, on X, saying that's not even his signature and putting comparisons between his signature and that signature. But the problem is, if you look at other signatures, for example, him writing to Rudy Giuliani, as well as some others, I'll put that on the screen right now, it's very clear that the long tail of a signature, which is what the point of contention was, it was present in other letters and other signed documents at the time this was written, which was over 25, 30 years ago. So there's that. In my opinion, it sure looks like his signature to me. Now, the other point that we have to bring up is, why would somebody forge his signature when it comes to this? One, you'd have to, know that they were friends. You'd have to, two, know that there's going to be pictures of them together. So many things that would be hard to know at the time. And most importantly, three, you'd have to know that Trump was going to be more so in the public eye 20 or 30 years later, right? He's going to be a politician. He's going to be running for president. He's going to be president. He's going to have 2 terms. That's very difficult to know 30 years in advance, basically impossible unless you're a time traveler, right? So why would you forge this? Now, again, in my opinion, it just looks like the White House and the administration is trying to find a way to spin the fact that this looks like his signature to me. And I'm sure it looks like his signature to a lot of other people. And then, of course, you open up the question to why, right? Why is there a birthday letter being written? What the fuck is a wonderful secret? And then let's talk about the next document, because the other document is just as insane. Now, this document was not written by Donald Trump. It was written by a Mar-a-Lago member and Epstein. This was part of Epstein's birthday book, right? So these are letters written to Epstein. Now, this Mar-a-Lago member is joking in this letter to Epstein about selling a fully depreciated woman to Donald Trump for $22,000. Okay, I'm going to let that sit for a second. That is insane. It's disgusting on a moral basis, on a legal basis, and on a joking basis. That's weird as fuck. I'll be honest. I think I have some pretty crude humor. That is something that I would never say. That's insane. That is so far past. I remember the whole argument that Trump When the whole grab him by the pussy thing came around, like he was like, "Oh, that's just boy talk and the locker room talk." Not really. And then this is so far and above beyond that this is insane. Now, of course, I gotta stress this. This is not Donald Trump, right? This is a Mar-a-Lago member writing to Jeffrey Epstein, but they're writing to him about Donald Trump. So one, the context is disgusting. It's weird as fuck. And then secondly, if Trump did not have a connection to Epstein, why would this random ass Mar-a-Lago member be writing a letter to Jeffrey Epstein for his birthday, in his birthday book, mentioning Donald Trump and selling him a woman? Look, if you are MAGA, I mean, please take the MAGA hat off, okay, just for a second, and let your brain breathe. Just for a second, okay? It might be constricting the air to your brain. Let your brain breathe and just really think about this, okay? There are too many coincidences for it to be a coincidence, okay? There are too many connections, okay? And on top of that, you have the administration doing everything, literally everything in its power to not allow these documents to get out. Remember, Republicans in Congress, some of Trump's most serious supporters, Marjorie Taylor Greene, I mean, these people want the documents to be released. So why would the administration, they have called it a hostile act. Any GOP attempt to release the rest of these files are considered a hostile act to the administration. Why? Why would you run on the campaign on the issue of releasing this during the presidential campaign to just completely switch your tone about releasing them, to call it a Democrat hoax, right? Just yesterday I made a video about Mike Johnson saying that Trump was an FBI informant, that he was actually the good guy. He was trying to take down Epstein. Now, of course, Mike Johnson has changed his tune, but that doesn't forgive Mike Johnson. I think in the video, I did in the video call him a cuck because he lets his constituents get fucked, and I still believe that. But look, the administration wants these documents buried. Why? I don't know. But I think we can all speculate. Okay? Either Trump is heavily implicated or he's covering for people, very powerful people, that either own him, that he owes favors to, or that he's friends with that are implicated. Those are the only two conclusions that I can come to. Now, Republicans, MAGA, etc., they've said, well, why didn't Biden release these files? There are plenty of reasons why, legal reasons why. But the fact of the matter is they try to say that as if, well, maybe Biden's in the files. Maybe so. I'm sure there are a shit ton of Democrats in that file, or in those files. Release them anyway. That's one of the main differences, it feels like, between the right and the left. I don't consider myself a Democrat. I'm pretty independent, pretty center of the road, but I lean left on most things. I don't care who's in the files. I want them released, and I want those people to be held accountable. Doesn't matter if they're Republican or Democrat. If they were doing weird shit, immoral shit, and illegal shit to kids, that's fucking weird, gross, and disgusting, and they should be held accountable because guess what? It's also illegal. So I don't care if it's Democrats or Republicans. I think the files need to be released. Okay, I'm not going to drag this video out any longer. Very clearly, this is my Talk About Anything channel, hence the name, Yaponomics. It's also a play on words because economics and finance is where my actual formal education and 10 plus years of experience are. So if you want my qualified opinion, that's over on the main channel. We talk about investing, interest rates, Federal Reserve policy, the overall economy, tariffs, the whole shebang. That's on my main channel. This is my Talk About Anything and give you my unqualified opinion. So if you like that instead, then you're in the right place for that as well. So please consider subscribing. Helps the channel out tremendously. It's super difficult to grow here on YouTube. So every subscription means the world to me. It matters and it counts. So with that said, I hope to see you in the next video. It could be tomorrow. It could be the next day. It could be a week from now, a month from now. I basically just post when there's something important to talk about. And right now, with how crazy the world is, that's pretty much every day. With that said, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.